This is a Dude Studios production. And hey, I'm the dude.
Hey bartender, pass me a drink. A reason that I'm here is I need time to think.
Welcome back to Hey Bartender Podcast. I'm your bartender for the evening. You can call me the dude, or, you can call me Anthony. That's my real name. Honestly, that is my real name. And, how are things going? We just got through the Super Bowl. Hopefully your team did well. When I'm recording this, I don't know the outcome of the game yet. Truthfully, I probably won't know the outcome of the game until I go to my real job tomorrow morning, because I don't really care about sports, football, anything, really. Like I've told you guys before, if you want to talk about the Beatles, Star Trek, pop culture stuff, I'm your guy. But when it comes to things like Super Bowl, the World Series, I'm just behind the bar to make the money, because you guys are the customers are there to meet up with their friends, hang out, drink a few beers, cheer on their favorite team, and then they go home and have a barbecue or whatever. And so, really not my thing, but doesn't mean it doesn't have to be yours. So, anyway, welcome to the show. This show, we got to start off with the drink special. You know what? This show will be posted on February 13th. Now, it's going to be late in the day on February 13th, but I still feel the need to tell you guys, remember, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So, any of you people, not just the men, even though in all comedy stories, in all office stories around the water cooler, men are mostly to blame for forgetting about Valentine's Day, anniversaries, all that sort of thing. I'm reminding the women too. And, if you're like a gay couple, you got like twice the trouble of forgetting, because you're both guys. If you're a lesbian couple, maybe you both remember. I don't know. I don't know how it all works, but I'm just here to remind you guys, as of the night of February 13th, it is the day before Valentine's Day, so get your shit together. If you have to go over to Walgreens late at night, because they're open 24 hours, to get something, so be it. But remember, you can also disappear the morning of Valentine's Day and go get something nice. The more important thing is going into nighttime. So, which brings us to this week's drink special. Now, I usually tell you guys some cool, awesome mixed drink, but right now everybody is pissed because a lot of the restaurants and places, clubs that people want to go to are closed up or only allowing 25% capacity. So, are you going to get a lot of business that night? No. So, here's what you do. If you're working behind the bar that night, get some of the leftover champagne from New Year's Eve, maybe, and serve that to your customers. Give it to them for a slightly cheaper price, or offer them a champagne cocktail of some kind. Throw a little bit of Midori on there. You got a melon ball, or any kind of fruity type of liqueur. If you are not working that night, go get a bottle of champagne and share it with the person you care about. Now, I am actually one of those people that sits back and says, Valentine's Day, huh? That's the day where we have to, out of all 365 days of the year, that is the specific day where we have to tell our significant other, or show our significant other, that we care about them, we love them. Are you kidding me? So all 364 days didn't count up until that day. Part of me is one of those people that believes it's just one of those devilish ploys made by the greeting card industry or the candy industry. It's you don't get the day off from work. You don't the speciality, I just made that word up, I think, of Valentine's Day escapes me. Probably because I've been single for a really long time. But we have to take one day out of the year, and that's only a month and a half after Christmas, uh, or about a month and a half after Christmas, and who's telling when their birthday is, and and use that one specific day to tell them that you care about them, that you love them. Okay, maybe it's not just about the person that you're with. Maybe it's about everybody. Share the love. Tell everybody that you love them. You don't have to stick to the person that's in a relationship, but the person that is without some kind of relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, however they identify, we are the ones that kind of get gut punched a little bit because of the whole holiday. But like I said, I've been single for a long time, so yeah, it does feel like a gut punch. But it goes to a lot of instances that I saw in the bar. Now, I worked a lot of Valentine's Day during the time that I was a bartender, and they decorated the bar, put the red hearts up. If you are lucky, you get a nice lady that walks in with a basket full of roses and offers them to you for a reasonable amount of money to give it to your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, to your significant other on Valentine's Day. You get an opportunity for that. But there were a lot of things that happened on Valentine's Day that just, I stand there and I look at my customers and go, are you serious? Now, for you people that listen to this show before Valentine's Day, take notes. If you listen to this after Valentine's Day and you're in the doghouse, this might help you figure out where you went wrong. I'll start with some good stories though, because we want to start off on a high note, don't we? So I used to see couples that came into my bar that I couldn't see them with anybody else. They just looked so happy and they loved to be together, and it was, for single people like me, it was at the time kind of one of those things that says, okay, I've got hope. I'll find somebody out there somewhere. But, you just see them and they're just happy and they're perfect together. They can joke around with each other. They can, they enjoy the same things, or they don't at all. But they enjoy arguing about it. It's, actually quite an amazing thing. And I've seen couples that would, they go to the bar just to be able to say that they went out, and that's fine. What should we do on Valentine's Day? Well, let's go over to the bar, go visit the dude, and because it's Valentine's Day, we should do something special. Now, visiting me, or visiting a local bar that you frequent all the time, that doesn't scream something special to me. That screams the norm. But a lot of people, a lot of your customers out there, they want normality. They want, because let's face it, a lot of people that like to drink have a touch of OCD in them, don't they? But a really good story is when one of my favorite couples came in, and they decided, let's go shoot some pool, because there was a pool table open. The late night business hadn't really started up yet, so they just decided it would be fun to go over and shoot pool. And then all of a sudden, a couple minutes later, the wife, I believe they were married, came up to my bar and said, 2 more drinks, and I made them whatever it was they drank. And I said, so how's your Valentine's Day? And she goes, oh, it's amazing. I woke up to flowers this morning, and when he got back from work, he gave me this. And she shows me this really beautiful tennis bracelet. And she's like, I've been asking this forever, and I handle all the finances in the house, and I have no idea where he scraped the money to get me this tennis bracelet. And me being the type of guy that knows that I shouldn't ask things like that, I didn't say, well, how much is it? I just complimented the woman on, the beautiful bracelet, because she was obviously very proud of it. and then fist bumped the husband for being listening to his wife and being right on the ball with the special gift. And I talked to the husband for a few minutes while she was in the restroom and they were getting ready to go home. They only stuck around for maybe a couple hours and then they decided, okay, let's go home. And so he comes up to me, I fist bump him and say, hey, good job getting that tennis bracelet for your wife or girlfriend, whatever she was. And he's like, oh, yeah, you don't know what I had to go through in order to save that money up. It took me a long time. In fact, I was supposed to get it for last Valentine's Day, or I was supposed to get it, last year, whether it was Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever. But, finally I saved up enough money. And I said, yeah, she was telling me how impressed she was that you were able to hide that money in order to buy that tennis bracelet. And he goes, oh, God, that wasn't easy. I didn't ask for any more details on that. And I said, so the kids are probably somewhere else right now since this is a weeknight and you're probably going to go home and have some loud, obnoxious sex, aren't you? And he goes, you damn right. And I said, all right, man, well, have fun. And she came out of the bathroom and they said goodnight to me. Yeah, it was nice to see them walk out, arms around each other, and walk out into the night and probably go home and do whatever 2002's version of Netflix and chill was, and ignore the movie completely. Yeah, that was nice. That was to watch them do that. Let's face it, people. I mean, it is always nice to see two people that are totally into each other, totally in love, and it's see them hugging on each other. Or, well, there is a limit. I mean, there's, I don't know. Does anybody use the phrase PDA anymore? But it is nice to see people in a loving relationship, no matter who they are. I mean, I've even watched various couples of different, I don't know, what would you call it? Different sexual orientations on the internet, or have seen friends, that, are just really in love, and it has to make you feel good a little bit. I mean, unless you're, one of those people that's completely closed off and cold hearted. I'm not completely closed off and cold hearted. I'm just a little jealous from time to time. But guys and girls, let me remind you something. Going into your everyday regular hangout bar is not always the greatest idea for Valentine's Day. I saw some couples that I thought were doing really well, and the strange thing about it was watching reactions as time went by throughout the night. Sure, they show up, they sit down, they maybe have a reasonable nice dinner, maybe a couple drinks, glass of wine, beer, but then they go back into their old or their usual type of things that they would do at that specific bar. See, one couple, I saw them, they came in, they sat, they hung out at the bar with me for a little while. I talked to them, served them their drinks, joke around with them a little bit, and then all of a sudden, one of them decides to go play video poker. And one plays video poker, and the other one really doesn't want to play video poker, so the other person just kind of stands next to the machine just so they can be with their date or whatever. Yeah, we'll just call it a date. And that had, based on experience, that gets boring after a while. It gets really old. And, it's just sit and watch the button get pushed and watch the cards go by. And it's just got to wear on the other person that's not playing poker. If you're both playing poker together, technically, you're not together, if you ask me. If you go to a casino and you decide, a great date would be to go to a casino. You're not really together because you're both playing two different games, and you're just in the same vicinity of each other, and that's kind of defeats the purpose of what is called a date night. And the I mean, in my worthless opinion, people, because you make the effort to say we are going on a date, and then all of a sudden you go right back into, oh, let's play video poker. You're good enough to say let's, but really it's just one of you. And that what somewhat worried me for some customers. Some of the customers were completely cool, just standing next to the machine, watching them play, not really talking to each other, but they were just happy to be standing there. And every once in a while somebody would walk by, they'd talk. The person not playing video poker would be talking to them for a little bit, but then they're completely just standing there leaning against the machine or against the wall. It wasn't a big deal. But the couples that came into my bar that were I really honestly worried about is it's Valentine's Day and the couple comes in. They're both dressed very, very nicely. But in this case of this couple, the husband had his pool cue on his back. Now, I knew from that second, he didn't bring that pool cue to play with his wife. He brought that pool cue in case somebody wanted to play pool, because he was very competitive when it came to pool. In fact, I think he was the same guy that was challenged by a guy who needed money to pay his bills and bet like the other guy bet like $200 that he could beat him in pool. And the guy that bet $200 had his ass handed to him and had to go home empty-handed, even more broke, and definitely couldn't pay his bills now. But the couple came in and he had his pool cue with him, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, pay attention to your woman tonight. What is wrong with you? Because for some reason, I look out. I used to look out into the pool table area, and I'd see the guy concentrating on his pool game, lining up his shot, and trying to strategize what's happening next. And the girlfriend or wife has this blank stare into the sky, and the only thing that I can think of that's probably going through her head is something equivalent to the Super Mario Brothers theme. She's just staring off into the distance, whether it's towards the floor, towards a wall, up to the ceiling, and she's sitting there going bleep deep 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 deep. And I felt so sorry for them. I mean, sure, I'm not saying that a lot of the girls didn't at that time, enjoy just sitting and watching them play, but some of them, you could almost hear them screaming in their heads, I want attention. And all you want to do is shoot pool. And some of those relationships ended poorly. Yes. But some of the relationships, managed to work their way out of that. And, like the guy finally decided, I'm tired of shooting pool. Or the girl finally said, you know what? We need to talk. And they sat and talked about it for a little while, and then he didn't concentrate so much on his pool game. But this happened back when a lot of my customers were between 21 and 25, so they are just out of college or hanging out with their old high school friends, because it was a very local bar, and they're hanging out with their high school friends, and they're still competitive with their high school friends. I can beat you. Oh, you suck. And all that stuff. But they kind of forget, I'm here on a date. And that can be tragic. Especially when I see the girl, she's sitting there on a stool at the buddy bar, and she's staring off into the distance, bored as shit. And she got dressed up that night. She's not wearing her usual jeans and a nice shirt. She actually wore a dress. She put on makeup. She had her hair done. And the guy, sure, he's wearing slacks and a nice button-down shirt instead of dirty jeans and a Leonard Skinner shirt and a trucker cap. He actually took the time to comb his hair and stuff like that, but he still went into his usual I'm here to shoot pool type of thing. So a piece of advice for a lot of people, bartenders, servers, if you're giving out advice for what to do for Valentine's Day, a suggestion would be if you see this regular couple, tell them to go somewhere that's out of the norm. I mean, it can still be a bar, it can still be a pool table. Sure, you're throwing away your business, but it's for the couple. And, but take your significant other to someplace different, someplace special, someplace you always wanted to go to, someplace that you were curious about. And, that way you're not, you can tell them that you're not inclined to talk to your old buddies or play or shoot pool. Just go out, do something different. That's what I would like to tell my customers, just because then all of a sudden this so-called special day becomes any other day. Sure, it started with candy, flowers, gifts, but the nighttime became just any other day. And odds are, majority of the time, when it became any other day, they drank just as much, and then consequences like, say, whiskey dick came into play. One of these days I'm going to have to look into if women have that same, based on my experience, they just drink a little bit too much and then they get sleepy and don't really want to do anything because they're so tired, or the headache starts to kick in. But whiskey dick, where the guy is fully ready to go, but the soldier won't salute. That's embarrassing for a guy. Especially if you decide that Valentine's Day is going to be your first date. Now, this goes out to the people that are single and flat out refuse to be dateless on certain times of the year, whether it be New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, the days that are pretty much reserved for to be with somebody. I don't think like St. Patrick's Day or Arbor Day really counts into that. But those days that everybody feels like they're obligated to be with somebody that on that night, and so they search around and say, well, they're nice, they're pretty, they're funny, or just those people that are just like desperate. Okay, Valentine's Day, I can't be single this day, so I will take the first person that I find attractive, and that way I will make sure I have a Valentine's Day date that night. Now, if you've been working behind the bar or serving the tables, you've seen this come up. You've probably smelled the desperation in the air as get closer and closer to Valentine's Day, and these people are like, I can't be alone. It just can't happen because I'm not that pathetic. And the desperation just consumes them, and they end up going with somebody that you find questionable. And you ever had one of those customers where you're afraid to even be nice to them just because you're afraid that they're going to get a little bit too attached to you, I think is a great word. Has that ever happened? I mean, there was that one girl that I talked about a long time, Crazy Karen, and her name was actually Karen because I'm not saying that just because that Karen is a buzzword nowadays. But Karen, she was beautiful, but she was tired of getting used, I think is a nice way of putting it. Because these guys, obviously, she's a beautiful woman. These guys walk up and hit on her, and then she would say or do something to that would normally drive a guy away, but these guys are persistent. I gotta get laid tonight. And as a bartender, I would totally have loved to say, hey, dude, why don't you just leave her alone and stop trying to get in her pants because it's going to end bad. But they're one of those. They're one of those guys that don't care, and they're on a mission. And no matter what you say, it's fuck. Yeah, come on, I'm shit. And this woman, she would inevitably go home with somebody, but then the very next day, these guys would be kind of look inside the bar, look around a little bit, and it's like, hey, dude, you okay? You look like you're being wanted by the cops or something like that. And they said, well, I took Crazy Karen home last night. Well, they didn't call her Crazy Karen. Bartenders and servers did. I took Crazy Karen home last night, and she immediately started calling me this morning before I was awake and said, why don't we get together for lunch? And I said, well, I'm busy. I got to go to work. And she, well, what are you doing later? Well, I got stuff I got to do. So what? We weren't, was it a one night thing? Was it, and it would escalate from there. And by escalate, I mean, Crazy Karen would come into my bar and ask me, can I borrow your tire iron? And I said, why do you need my tire iron? She goes, I just need it. Can I borrow yours? And I said, well, I'm sure your car came with one. She goes, no, I don't want to use mine. I want to use yours. And I said, why do you need to use mine? Okay. All of those big red flags. And if a woman has been pushed that far, she definitely needs to find a nice person, maybe a little bit of counseling, because she might have some past issues. Because if she's thinking about some kind of violence, whether it's to destroy somebody's car or impale somebody with that said tire iron, she wasn't going to get mine. And so the point I'm getting to here is, if you notice a person's getting insanely desperate for something, for a date for Valentine's Day, tell them to let it go. Just let it go. Don't try to find somebody for Valentine's Day, because even if they go with a good friend, it can change the dynamic of the friendship from there. So, well, you referred to him as a date on Valentine's Day. Okay. And it's one of those, and the girl refers to him as a date as on Valentine's Day. But the guy sat back and thought months ago that he was put in the friend zone. And so all of a sudden he sits back and think it's finally happening. I've been pining for this woman for I don't know how long, and she wants to take me on a date for Valentine's Day. I don't believe this. And, it's going to be great. It's going to be magical. It's going to, whatever. Yes, guys do think like that. Don't, guys, don't kid yourselves. You do think like that. But yes, there is a possibility, small, however it may be, that it could turn into something magical. You don't know. But 9 times out of 10, probably higher ratio. I just like using 9 times out of 10. Much higher ratio of that sort of thing where the girl says, okay, you're my date for Valentine's Day. And it's going to go right back to friend zone the very next day. And I'm not saying that you guys are going to sleep together. I'm not saying you guys are going to, do anything special other than hang out at your local bar together just so you can say that you were with somebody. But one person's feelings odds are going to get hurt. And the day after Thanksgiving, maybe the week after Thanksgiving, all of a sudden, one of you is going to be talking about, this person you just met, or you're thinking about getting back together with an ex, or, whatever stories comes up eventually. It's going to send the other person into a downward spiral. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to friend zone type of things, it's mostly a guy thing. Guys get thrown in the friend zone constantly. Since I'm a guy, I can't really speak for the women. I don't know how many women get thrown in the friend zone, but, and unwillingly get thrown in the friend zone. I see a lot of guys unwillingly get thrown in the friend zone, but they just, and it sends the person that into the friend zone on a downward spiral. I mean, let's compare it to something. I can't think of a good analogy, but the downward spiral, as soon as they hit the friend zone, it's like, that scene in Thor Ragnarok where Banner wants to turn into the Hulk, but ends up running in face first into the Rainbow Bridge, and it's painful once you hit the bottom and you realize you're back in the friend zone, and then from the friend zone, you sit back and try to decide, is this friendship worth it? Because all of a sudden one person's going to sit back and say, all right, that was painful. Don't want to go through that again. So this friendship isn't worth it. Obviously, she has different things in mind. I have different things in mind, or he or she. You know how hard it is to keep this podcast androgynous for 2021? Jesus. But inevitably somebody's feelings going to get hurt, and the dynamic of your relationship with your friend is going to change. You may not see it right away, and it might cause a lot more problems than you ever expected. So if you notice the desperation in one of your customers to absolutely, they have to have a date on Valentine's Day, tell them, skip it. It's just another day. You can save money. You don't have to buy a card. You don't have to buy jewelry. You don't have to buy chocolates. You don't have to do something sexual that you normally wouldn't do, that you save for only special occasions. You just encourage them to Netflix and chill, or go to the adult store, buy a toy, and get the laptop out. Some of you out there are probably like, oh my God, he went there. Yes, I went there, and I'm proud of it. Oh boy, it's time for me to take a break, go outside, have a cigarette. Yes, I do smoke cigarettes. Get over yourselves. So, before I go on break, remember, if you want to get your hands on some cool Hey Bartender podcast merchandise, all you have to do is head over to www.heybartenderpodcast.com. You can pick yourself up a t-shirt, sticker, whatever I got available on there. All the profits go to help the show so I can boost my listenership, advertise a little bit more, because I really want to bring this show up to be able to do more stuff to entertain you guys and support the service industry as a whole, because let's face it, being deemed as non-essential in 2020, that kind of sucked. I just want to get out there and be able to boost you guys up a little bit by interviewing you, by doing videos possibly in the future. So help support Hey Bartender Podcast by visiting www.heybartenderpodcast.com and pick up a t-shirt. That'd sure be a big help. It is time for the musical guest this week. This week I am featuring the band Waltzer. They are from Chicago, Illinois, and from their album Time Traveler, this is their song Lantern.
Only halfway through, my attention's
Off their album Time Traveler, that was Waltzer with their song Lantern. They are from Chicago, Illinois. If you want to find out more about them, go to their website, waltzermusic.com. That's WALTZERMUSIC.com. And you can find out more stuff about them. They also have an Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and a TikTok. If you're interested in booking them, you can also contact them at waltzerbookings@gmail.com. Or even go check them out on Bandcamp. That's how I found them. I love going to Bandcamp because to find music for this show, because a lot of these bands are pretty good and they don't get the airplay that anybody deserves nowadays. It's all the stuff is all taken up. It's like this year's Super Bowl. I had no idea who the hell was playing the Super Bowl halftime show. Didn't much care either once I did find out. So another thing I'm going to talk about the whole Valentine's Day thing is the Revenge Valentine's Day date. Yes, the Revenge Valentine's Day date. I hated seeing those type of dates out there because it was just horrible. And the sole purpose of that person going out on Valentine's Day date was to make their ex jealous. Yes, make the ex jealous. They happened to break up shortly before Valentine's Day, maybe a month or something like that. And so they go to great lengths to grab somebody to start dating, just grab anybody and bring that person to the local hangout because they know that's where their ex is going to be, or they find out where their ex is going to be just for the sole purpose of parading around with somebody new and try to make their ex jealous. And it's a horrible tactic. I don't condone it at all. Okay, here's how it usually goes. The couple breaks up and it's a few weeks to a month before Valentine's Day. They broke up for whatever reason on this planet. They had a large argument. And they just decided, okay, you know what, fine, we're broken up. And one of them, they find out is able to, the other person is able to find out that they were able to go out and find somebody new. And it doesn't matter how much time went by, they were able to find out somebody new way too early. It's not like the Ross and Rachel thing, we were on a break. No, they just all of a sudden, they're dating somebody else already? So the other person in the relationship decides, I got to find somebody and I am going to make them jealous. They think they can get along without me. Oh, I'm going to show them I can get along just as well without them. So they go out and find anybody, and start, usually it's a desperation date. So they will take out a close friend and just to be able to parade around and say, look, I found somebody else too. You're not the only one. And, there's confusion from one person on the date, or the new person in this whole thing. And, there was one guy that was just like, what, we're on a Valentine's Day date? No, I thought we were just here to hang out. And there's also that situation where the person's like, finally, I'm out of the friend zone. She's single or he's single. And, same things can happen. Feelings get hurt no matter what. But it's a very selfish thing that one person in the relationship sits back and says, well, if they can just jump back into a relationship, so can I. And it's just, revenge relationships. It's I don't know how to put it, really. It's just despicable that they would put a person that was not involved with any of that just for the sole purpose of revenge. I mean, even it's like, I got a call from a girl one night and she said, you have the night off? And this wasn't a Valentine's Day. But she calls me up and says, you have the night off? And I said, yeah, actually I do. And she goes, well, let's go hang out and let's go to the usual place. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. And fully knowing there's something up, I showed up. I pulled up to her house. She got in the car and she's wearing a skirt. Usually she wears jeans and a nice shirt. And she's done her makeup and done her hair. Not that she looked bad on a usual basis, but she did some effort. She put some effort into it that night. And I thought, oh, crap, I know what's going on. And so we head over to our local hangout. And she specifically put herself strategically in an line eyesight of a guy that she liked, but he was inevitably just fooling around with her because his girlfriend was a flight attendant and wasn't around very often. So while his girlfriend, who's a flight attendant, was out of town, he'd fool around with pretty much anybody. And so when it came down to it, she was there to make him jealous. Look, I'm out with somebody, and I'm sitting there thinking, he's not fooled by this. He knows who I am. He knows how, he knows that I'm just a friend to you. And eventually I got bored with the whole spiel, and because she said, let's sit here right in eyesight of this guy. And I was like, okay, I know what the deal is here. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to go wander around. I'm going to go talk to some old friends. And that's what I did. I let her sit by herself, trying to get the attention of the guy that she had a crush on, or sing, or one of those fatal attraction type of moments. And I let her sit there pining over him while I went and did other things. And whether I played video poker because, well, let's face it, I played video poker because I was a little antisocial, or I went to talk to Barb. She was behind the bar that night, or just other friends that happened to be there. And at one point I did debate, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm bored. In fact, if she wants to be here to try to get his attention, I'm going back home, because at the time I was like halfway through my my recently bought DVD copies of Firefly. But I did stick around, and inevitably she did realize that nothing was going to happen. Maybe, she probably planned, she decided to leave thinking that she planted that seed in his head to make him jealous. And I just dropped her off, and we sat and smoked cigarettes, and while she talked about him for a couple hours. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there beating myself over the head going, why am I putting myself through this? I need better friends. And, it was, she dressed up, and I'm wearing jeans and a flannel. I mean, he had to know something was up, and it was a bunch of bullshit that she was actually trying to make him jealous, because he knew who I was. She was dressed up. I wasn't. It wasn't a date. If he didn't realize that, he's a bigger moron than I took him for. But I don't think it really mattered to her whether or not he was there. All she had to do was be seen with another guy, and eventually, through the grapevine, it would have made it back to him that she was out with somebody else. And sometimes that works in the bar situation, because, everybody in the bar, everybody knows each other. Everybody has talked to each other, and the rumors spread just like high school. Because, in my bars, a lot of the people went to high school together, and they were still all, chatty and catty, and had their own little cliques. And they were the same cliques from high school. It's like they never left, really. And so maybe it did, but there was a number of times where I've witnessed where the girl, she comes in, I'm telling you this because it was a girl. I'm not just saying that I'm not saying women in general do this. I've only witnessed it with women, these women. I'm sure guys do it every once in a while too. oh, God, once again, keeping this show androgynous is getting to be a pain in the ass. Anyway, uh, the girl will go into the local hangout with a new guy and sit back and hope that he might not be, or sit back and think, well, he may not be here, but I do know some of the people that are here. Hopefully, that word will get back to them to make them jealous. And it's ridiculous to watch people do that to themselves. I'm not talking about the innocent bystander that thinks that they're out on a date. It's horrible to watch people do that to themselves just to feel like they're getting even with their ex. It's god awful, if you ask me. Or, I guess nowadays on social media, you can easily say, out with this person, and post a selfie with that other person, click, and then word will get around really quick. Odds are they're still on their friends list on Facebook or Instagram. But what I'm talking about happened in the late 90s, early 2000s, these things that I've witnessed. I mean, there was a girl once that called me up and said, hey, I'm dressed up with nowhere to go. Do you want to hang out? And I said, sure. What do you want to do? And she goes, oh, just come pick me up at work. I am pretty sure to this day the only reason why she had me pick her up at work was because the guy that she was interested in was working that night, and she needed to be seen being picked up by a guy. And yeah, that bummed me out when I all of a sudden realized that. But, you get over it after a while. And it's, the whole revenge, or the whole, the whole revenge when on relationships. Yeah, sure. I've been through the whole breakup situation, quite a few times. And there are parts of myself, that wants revenge. But there's nothing I can do about it. I've got to learn to move on. I mean, it's tough. It was tough. There was a period of time where I had a girlfriend. She worked in the same town that I did. We broke up, and then the ideas in my head started to flow, but they weren't all, I've got to plot revenge. I've got, this is ridiculous. This is bullshit. And, I've got to make her jealous. No, pretty much in my head, I made it all about me, because I was working behind the bar and I was sitting there dreading, is she going to come in tonight? Is she going to come in tonight? Is she going to come in with that schmuck? What the hell? And it was causing me loads and loads and loads of anxiety, to the point where I was like thinking, I got to quit my job just so I can function. But after a little while, you take a little bit of time, take a few deep breaths. It's not going to happen overnight. You eventually get over it, and it's a hard amount of time, but you eventually get over it. There's no need for revenge in relationships, because you're already hurting, and do you want other people to share your pain? Sure. But is it going to get you anywhere? No. So that's your advice on Valentine's Day from your local bartender. And a whole bunch of relationship study type of stuff. If any of you bartenders out there are like sociology majors or something like that, which I totally think people that are studying like to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or something like that, send them into a bar, make them wait tables or tend bar, and they will have what do those college kids call it? A thesis paper that will probably rival like 3,000 pages of the study of the human condition, especially when it comes to relationships or competitiveness or whatever. Because as a bartender, I've seen people fall in love. I've seen people fall out of love. I've seen people plot revenge. I've seen people not care about a damn thing in the world. And
Some people that were able to move on with their relationships with ease. It seemed like it was ease, and other people that all of a sudden you catch them on their front lawn chasing small animals with a weed whacker. And it happens. But, as a bartender, I suggest you guys play Switzerland on it. Don't play favorites. They're your customers. You probably like one more than the other, but still, they're your customers. They think of you as a friend. You can think of them as a friend if you like, but ultimately, it's still about business, and you want to keep your business. So, anyway, now that I've made that make absolutely no sense, and you guys pretty much have pretty much realized that this guy has no clue when it comes to women. Like I've said in the last few podcasts that I've done. But anyway, now that I've exposed all that information, it is last call. Last call for alcohol, people. Come on up to the bar, or I'm not giving you shit. I'm not walking all the way out there. Special thanks to Walter for allowing me to use their song Lantern. Go check out their album Time Traveler on bandcamp.com. And I'm sure it's available on Apple Music and Spotify. Go check out their website. And I know, people, I usually give you a drink special, but this is the day before Valentine's Day, and I really didn't want to go searching for some kind of drink or something like that had the only thing that it had to do with Valentine's Day is it was the color red, or it happened to have a heart for a garnish. That's bullshit. Let's not go that far. Keep it simple. Champagne and nice quiet night together, whoever your special someone is, and it will be a great Valentine's Day. Thank you for listening. Remember to share, like, and subscribe to Hey Bartender Podcast. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. Remember to visit the website, www.heybartenderpodcast.com, and pick yourself up a t-shirt or a sticker or something like that. Help support the show. I could really use it right now. And remember to leave a rating on iTunes or Spotify. I could use a lot of those right now. So until next time, people, just as usual, I hope you have had, depending on when you listen to this show, a great Valentine's Day. And remember, I wish you all lots of love, lots of sex, lots of happiness, and don't take any shit from anyone. Good night.
What do you mean it's last call? I just got here.